Hey guys, thank you so much for clicking on this video. My name is Chris. Let's jump right into Night School. So with Night School, the basic premise is Kevin Hart is a high school dropout. However, that does not stop him from succeeding in life, landing a barbecue grill salesman position, leading him to a fancy car, fancy wardrobe, and a fancy, beautiful, rich girlfriend. However, after that job sort of burns down, he's left with no options, and without a high school diploma, nowhere else he can really go. He does have a job lined up thanks to his friend played by Schwartz. All that's required is to get a GED. In comes in Tiffany Haddish. And that's all pretty much say without giving any spoilers to you guys. This is a spoiler-free review. I'm just gonna tell you what I liked about the film, what I didn't like, hit you with a rating system just like this one, breaking down the elements of the film and giving you a final ranking. Now before going into the review, I want to fully disclose I am sort of just pumped and filled with adrenaline because I got to see Kevin Hart. Notice I didn't say meet. He kind of came in, gave a little speech, was awesome. Great to be within 30 feet of a celebrity. Anytime you can do it, I highly recommend it.
But if that road to greatness is a long one, it's okay. There's no rush. Take your time and get there. We want you guys to enjoy this. We want you guys to laugh. And we want you guys to talk about it when you leave.
So I might have a sort of bias and already go into a super positive mood for this movie. Just want to let that be out there because I like being honest with you guys. But putting that stuff aside now, getting into the review, I like Kevin Hart. I understand people don't enjoy his movies and he's not really the comedian they like. I preferably lean more towards his stand-up. His stand-up to me is something I really enjoy and I will always catch when there's a new one out. His feature films that he's done, not always the best work, I completely understand, but I'm always willing to give him another shot when he has another movie coming. There's just sort of a list you check off when you go to see Kevin Hart movies. That's short jokes, him screaming, squealing his voice, and talking really fast and being funny. And when it comes to Tiffany Haddish, I love her. I got introduced to her through Girls Trip, a movie which really surprised me, I ended up loving, and the director of that movie actually directed this one as well. And for those of you who don't like her because you think she's loud or the film version of a Cardi B, I suggest you highly watch this movie because she takes a different approach to her comedy. This is where I can jump into the positives for the film. For one, the dynamic between Kevin and Tiffany, they are great together. You have two powerhouse comedians quipping at each other, throwing insults, competing for the screen, but at the same time having some serious moments within them. But those two powerhouse comedians aside, the other comedians in this movie or the classmates within Kevin Hart's Night School, really great stuff within them. Even the girl whose main position is to be the annoying little millennial, I'm just here to do what I gotta do and then I'm gonna leave because I hate you old people. They even found a way to make her work within the story and not really completely annoy us, the audience members. But by far, the one who stole the show from Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish, let me look up his name, was Romany Malco. Now, I haven't seen this boy since the 40-Year-Old Virgin. That's the last time I saw this guy in a movie that I can recall. But in this movie, he brings it back. He's a hilarious guy, and I don't understand why he's not in more films. To me, he stole the show. Every time he was on screen, I was laughing. I was excited to see what he'd say. I'll now contend fully that he stole the show, so look out for this character in the movie. Along with that, when it comes to the humor, it's of course very subjective. With what makes you laugh might not make me laugh, and what makes me laugh might not make you laugh. But I have to say, the humor they went for is all over the place in a good way. They had that lowbrow humor where it was fart jokes and some things that maybe a fourth grader would laugh out, but then there are a lot of times where they do actually integrate some clever humor into it, and I appreciated that because when you put a little more effort into the comedy and reoccurring jokes that are actually funny throughout the movie, it makes me just enjoy it that much more. I'll say this, Night School is a safe comedy. Now, I mean that in the nicest way possible because it's something that you are gonna enjoy, you are gonna like. As far as it going down as a great comedy, the best comedy of the year, most likely not. The only true negative I have towards this film is they could have tightened it up a bit because there were moments where it felt like it was kind of dragging on. There were things that you knew were gonna happen, just basic story beats of following a comedy. They diverged from those expectations in a comedic way, but they also lengthened up the movie quite a bit. So if they could have shortened it up, that would have been nice. Hour and 30 minutes is always my perfect window for a comedy, but alright. So for Night School, I'm gonna give action 1 star. There is an explosion in this movie and some cage fighting, if you want to call it that. Comedy in the film, I'm gonna give it 3 stars. It was the right amount of comedy. It made me laugh. It's not over the top hilarious, but there's enough for you to get your money's worth when you watch this. Drama in the film, I'm gonna give it 2 stars. It's a very simple premise in my opinion. The fact that they added a little bit of layer and heartwarming moments was a plus for me. Heart in the film, I'm gonna give no stars. There really isn't anything to be terrified in this movie. And suspense of film, I'm gonna give it 1 star. There weren't really moments where I was wondering what was gonna happen to certain characters or what the next scene was gonna be. It's very paint by the numbers, but in an enjoyable way. Casual fans, I'm gonna give it a B+. Cinephiles, I'm gonna give it a B-. And critically, I'm going to give it a C+. For Night School, I feel it's worth a watch in theaters. But that's just my opinion on the film, guys. Let me know what you thought about the movie if you got around to seeing it. I do think it's some of Kevin Hart's better work. I just wish he would take a little bit more of a range with his characters. But if he can still make me laugh, I don't see why you do have to change it. Either way, guys, be sure to like and subscribe to this channel. Follow me at 3C Film Review on Twitter. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.